Yo, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Endzone Club. Guys, listen. I have decided to make this podcast a limited series edition. What that means is that this podcast will not be a perpetual thing, but we will utilize some past footage from interviews that we have done with former NFL players, former athletes, with professional people, with rappers, with guys from different walks of life and girls, and paint a clear picture, we think, for the youth, which for us is mainly our mainstay focus. Many of you guys know basically what we do is geared at reaching and inspiring kids. So with this platform, this limited series platform, we're gonna have some fun stories. We're going to have some inspiring stories. We're going to have some, maybe some deep conversation. But ultimately, if we can take this platform and if we can spur, if you would, just a change of guard or change of pace or change of thought process for a lot of you, I think that we have been successful with this platform. As many of you guys know that have been attached with us, and for those of you who are now just new coming in, my name is Anthony Mitchell. My wife and I, we serve as youth pastors in ministry, but even before we came together, both of us were in our own little sections of the world, working with you in one capacity or another. And one thing I think I take great joy, great pride, just a lot of exhilaration in doing is just thinking outside the box, because for myself, my own personal story is I grew up in the church. I'm a product of the church. I was a musician, I played the drums, I played the bass a little bit, played several other little instruments, but my first recollection or memory for learning about career, learning about what I could be, learning about, the day that starts for me after tomorrow, my genesis was in the church. However, I know that growing up in the church that we were very limited, even though our church was a little outside the box. Overall, we were very limited in a lot of the means that people were using to reach us. Back then, there was a big taboo in the church as far as listening to even Christian rap. It was like that was so brand new. So when Kirk Franklin came and he hit us with Stomp, what was that, 99, 98? When he hit us with Stomp, I remember the pastor preaching against it because, of course, some of y'all may remember he used a clip from P-Funk, aka George Clinton, like One Nation Under the Groove, to really drop that hook. And man, it was pounding, it was in your face, it was everything. We as kids, we were already listening to the music. I mean, just because we were in church didn't mean we were blind, deaf, and dumb. I mean, back in 99, Cash Money was taking over the guy. No limit. No Limit was making us say, ugh. We've seen the whole East Coast, West Coast fiasco. We knew all the music. We knew everything going on, but it was like in the church world, we didn't have a counterattack for reaching kids. So a lot of what we had to, a lot of what we were attracted to was secretly outside of the church. So growing up in that, seeing everything demonized and all sorts of things, as I grew older, I wanted to basically create a platform that could reach across different genres and markets and be attractive to kids both in church and as well as out of the church. I think where we are neglecting, even in our creative thought pattern, is what can I do to reach the kids? All kids aren't going to go to church. It is what it is. All parents that are in the church aren't going to have the same thought process on a lot of things, because whereas maybe my parents might have vilified certain things, other parents had certain other things that they allowed their kids to do. But all in all, what I have done is a lot of things that we weren't able to do. Sporting events were a big thing on Friday night because I was a musician. I had to be in the church. We were always somewhere on Friday nights at a revival. We were praying and doing all these things while my friends were playing football. The band director knew I was a musician, so he was like, hey man, why don't you come play in the band and I'll get you some free trips to Disney World. But church took precedent and priority. So because it took precedent and priority, one thing I refuse to do now is to not allow all of the attractive things to be not able to reach some of our kids in our own home. So with this platform, I decided, you know what, let's bring in some influential people that otherwise we would recognize. As you guys have seen from past interviews, we've had some Super Bowl winners, we've had some all-pro cornerbacks, we've had some millionaires that have come on this platform, and we've got more people coming in the form of pilots and people that are proficient in the business sector. We've got some guys that will be coming on talking about financial literacy. We had even one young lady here a couple of episodes back, Promise Kamara, who is part of the Nigerian national basketball team. We actually, with the Olympics just having passed, guys, we watched this girl represent not only women's basketball, but her parents' native country of Nigeria, as well as representing the United States on the national stage. And to know that she was on this platform, that's the quality of people that we have been bringing to the table, because we know, as well as some parents know, that kids are a worthwhile investment. Whereas you see a lot of negative things in the news and a lot of crazy things that go on every time they happen, and it's like this generation for a lot of people feels like a lost generation. A lot of people don't know what can be done to reach them. Well, the reality is it's hard to reach a person if you can't speak their language. A lot of their language is in laughter. A lot of their language is in having fun. A lot of their language is in food and social, social activities and events. So with that said, what all we're wrapping up for these kids is found in that same kind of sector. So guys, every time you hear Endzone Club dropping another episode, I encourage you guys to tune in. Share this platform, share this broadcast, share this podcast with your friends, because I can guarantee you the more this gets out, the more bandwidth we will be able to reach. I'm going to do the best I can to have engaging topics that kids can follow. Sometimes it will not be orthodox. Sometimes you will have people on here that sound like they're from the streets, but guess what? Kids from the streets will be able to relate. Sometimes you might find some nerds that are on this podcast, and you may not understand that, but guess what? We live in a very nerdy age where nerds are taking over, from comic books to tech geeks, all of these things, but we cannot neglect to reach kids wherever they are. So what this limited series edition platform is dedicated to is reaching kids from different walks of life, just to let you know we see you, we hear you, we care about you. Hey, I also encourage you guys, if you're listening, hey, hit the support button. The thing that makes these kind of platforms work is the generous support of others. By doing so, I will be able to go from recording off of my cell phone to setting up a studio, having top of the line equipment, but it all starts with support. But ultimately, everything that we raise from this platform, I want to give back to the community. Every year, we do all sorts of free giving back events in our community. Maybe it's been less than a month ago, we held a free football camp in our community here in Tupelo, Mississippi, where we had 4 former NFL players that came in, and as well as some coaches from all across the state, and they really poured into the kids. Not just in this area of sports, but we actually talked to these guys about life. We talked to them about respect. We talked about them being a part of a team, not just on the field, but off the field. A lot of the intangibles that we learned through sports, we took that, we encapsulated it in a camp, and we gave it back to them. One of the guys we had was, of course, some of you guys have seen the relationship we had with former Super Bowl winner, and wide receiver with the Green Bay Packers, Eric Matthews, who also has dropped an interview. I encourage you guys to go back and listen to one of the first interviews we've done with Eric Matthews. Also, we had James Mathis. James Mathis is a former University of Minnesota Gopher linebacker who also played with the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. And we also had a young man by the name of Armiga Spearman, who was an all-SEC linebacker, as well as a starting linebacker with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Denver Broncos. And then one last guy we had, of course, I'm a big 49er fan, so I needed a Niner. We had Grant Hurd, who also played at Ole Miss and who played 5 years in the NFL, 6 years in the NFL, 5 with the San Francisco 49ers and 1 with the Atlanta Falcons. Those are the kind of guys that we bring in their family men. All of them are active in community, in church, and home, and they do all they can to reach you. But in order to have these things, of course, it takes support. So what we're raising from this platform will go back into the community. We also have done free basketball camps, have had former WNBA players that have come in. We've done several back to school drives where we give out, paper, pencils, school supplies of all sorts for those who need it. We've done several of those. We've done fall festivals. We've done a lot of things in the community, and it's something we take great pride, great joy. But in order to keep it going, it needs your help. So guys, until next time, I want you to enjoy this platform while it is here. Help get this word out. That way we can unlock sponsors. That way we can get our viewership up and we can kill it.